All right. Should be live in a moment here. So thanks everyone for tuning in here. Looking forward to getting a fresh start today after getting completely smoked in NFL yesterday. So let's see how we can do it with some NBA. So today's slate I think should be a pretty good one. A really big Monday slate today. I've been finding over the past few days that at least on DraftKings and Yahoo, like man, late swapping is key here because there's so much that you learn after a lock. Like yesterday, we learned that Kai Bowman wasn't going to be starting. Draymond Green was starting at point guard instead, which made one of the most popular plays of the night, one of the worst probably as far as compared to ownership. So I'll kind of go through the today's games in our lineup builder here. If you have any questions, hit me up in this chat, or we can talk in Slack as well. Just add me if you're asking any questions here, and I'll be sure to answer them. So, all right, let's see what we got today. So this first game, I got burned on Randall the other night. What I thought would happen is he would get minutes like normal, but with Bobby Portis moving back at power forward, that's someone who they want to give a little bit more minutes, and then they're rotating Taj and Mitchell Robinson at center. We didn't see any Randall at center, so that was pretty disappointing, and that's making me a little sour on these Knicks. Aside from Mitchell Robinson, who rotating him for Taj Gibson, as long as he doesn't foul a ton, should get a ton of minutes. So he makes a really nice play tonight. On the other side, we got Kevin Love out. The main guy I'm looking at is Tristan Thompson, and to a lesser extent, Alfonso McKinney if he starts. I think that Thompson will be a lot better rebounding with Love out. All right. Next, we got Kyrie's out in the next game, as well as Malcolm Brogdon. We got Sabonis is questionable. TJ McConnell's out. That was pretty disappointing because he'd be in a smash spot. Do you set randomness differently for 9-game slate? Probably pretty much use the same. Gerard asks, can I approve or disapprove of your sleeper pick? So hit me with that. So this ownership looks like maybe it's not completely up to date because I see Justin Holiday is only 0.1%. He probably will start today. Shooting guard. If he does, that's a nice play. Miles Turner, the same thing as Tristan Thompson, where if Sabonis is out, I think that'll be nice for his rebounding numbers. Sabonis is playing. Alright, well, I gotta update my stuff then. Oops. Let me see if I can find something here. Questionable. Oh, he's good to go, but questionable. Domantas Sabonis should play. Where is this good to go coming from? Okay. Who's this dude? Pacers reporter. I guess that's pretty legit. So let me go through the minutes again. That'll make Miles Turner a little bit less appealing. But still a nice play. He seemed to be fully healthy. Sabonis, I think, will take a downturn with Miles Turner out. His rebounding will probably be down a little bit. He's been a monster on the boards, but it's a lot due to him playing center. Sabonis is still coming out to be a pretty nice play, though, in his own right. So, Jakar Sampson should move out of the starting lineup. We've seen him get some starts. And then Bitadze should back up Turner. And Jakar Sampson backs up Sabonis, maybe. That would kind of be my best guess. So 32 minutes for Turner, 16 for Bitadze. And then Turner is So I'm still getting Turner to be a really nice play tonight. I guess it's just with Brogdon out, the Lamb is out. There's just a lot of points to go around here. So just really cheap prices on these guys. Anyway, let me go back to my lineups here. So Spencer Dinwiddie, I think, is a lock. He was in foul trouble the last start, so he didn't really make it. But it's a fresh slate, so I'm gonna give him a lot of ownership here. Let me see if I can refresh and get my. I wonder how long it takes to update on here. Anyway. So Jared Allen is pretty cheap. He's a power forward on FanDuel. That's a nice play. Devontae Graham playing huge minutes for Hornets. I think that people still may not know who that guy is, and he's been pretty productive, so I might look at him. I was watching some of that game that he started, and it seemed like he was really running the point while Rozier slid over to the 2. A min-price salary guy from the Nets who declined to deal to play with Harden is Gerard's sleeper pick. So, I mean, I think Amusa maybe, like, he got huge minutes last game because of foul trouble, pretty much. So I'm not really on him. All right, moving on. Raptors have a good matchup tonight. Siakam, nice price, 41% ownership. Man, Fred VanVleet's been good. Most of the salary or the value plays are priced up now, so not a ton of value there. No Middleton, so Giannis and Bledsoe, maybe Lopez see more usage. On the Bulls side, Cornette's out, so maybe Markkanen playing center is an interesting play. Portland, no real injuries to note, but Nasir Little has been starting, so I think that means Bazemore, Hazonia off the table for me. The Rockets, I saw a bunch of love from the other guys on our team, but I just don't really get it. I think that Harden, Westbrook, I mean, the whole team's healthy now, so I don't really think these price tags stand out at all to me. So I don't see myself landing on them a ton. All right. I like Shimon Money's response here. Thoughts on Joe Harris? Last game with Kyrie and Levert, he had 8 assists. Yeah, I mean, he's not really an assist guy, only 8% assists on the year, while Dinwiddie is. So, one way I could evaluate that is, what if we go to NBA Wowie and check this out? So let's see, Joe Harris without Kyrie this season. So it'll take a second for that to load up here. So that'll give us some ideas. Do you still like Randall on DK? I like the price, but the minutes I think will come down. Shouldn't TJ Warren dominate without Sabonis? Well, I think Sabonis is in, so that was what we were kind of going over here. Spurs, Mavs. Not really seeing anything of interest here. The last game, Kleber started for Dallas, so if he started again, that might be a nice play. Since the Spurs run out to Trey Lyles at center, I think that there's a decent chance Kleber starts this game. Doncic has been crazy good, so I like him. All right. Assist percentage, so you can go to the ball handling tab in Wowie. And we got Joe Harris at 16%, so that's actually pretty decent. That's a lot higher than I was expecting. So if we put that in, he becomes a nice value play on FanDuel. Dinwiddie's way up, of course. Let's see. 386 possessions is like 4 full games, so we got a significant sample if you go by 100 possessions a game. Prince got more assists. But for these other guys, I'm going to throw in Dinwiddie here and see if some of these minutes were without either one. All right. Would you enter with no overlaps on players in a 3 max tournament? No, I mean, if you make 2 lineups and the second lineup has none of the players from the first lineup, it's going to be a lot worse in general. There's a lot of kind of lack plays today. All right. So the Celtics, you'd think that Phoenix would be a good matchup, but they're actually the dog here. That's incredible. Take off Levert. Oh, good idea. All right. So not a lot of possessions without Dinwiddie. So most of these numbers were with Dinwiddie. So I think that adding this all up, we're getting that we got some good plays on the net side here. Prince, Allen, and Dinwiddie are my favorites, and as well as Harrison, Temple on FanDuel. Do you ever set max players per team when crunching? I used to do that, but I found that the teams that you want to have more than a couple players are generally the ones that are really good values, so you can have more players in that kind of situation. All right, so this Boston-Phoenix game, I'm not really seeing anything here. Aside from Oubre, he's been getting big minutes. Russ Lord or Doncic. Let's see. I think Doncic is probably the highest projected. Price-wise, let's see. Westbrook's too expensive. Lord's kind of expensive, so I go with Doncic. Okay. Minnesota, Wiggins is doubtful. Okogie is questionable, but went through a shoot-around, I think, so he's probably playing. So we had this up. I'm getting the, let's see, I forgot to update it for, Okogie being, in shoot-around, so when I update these numbers, I'm getting that Teague is really a core play on both sides. Covington's a good play on both sides. Okogie, Culver, and Graham would be kind of value options. All right. Utah, it's a good matchup. That's pretty much the only thing I have to say about it. Not seeing any DFS plays, really. Maybe Royce O'Neal at 3,800. But you could probably do better. All right. Do you like to run it back with a player from the opposing team? I don't generally force that in. I've tried it in past years, but without much success. Steven, why is Sabonis projection at 25? Because I had him in as questionable. So if it's a game that starts after a lock, I usually try to assume that a questionable player is 50-50. All right. Last game, we got maybe Steven Adams is a value option. Shea's kind of a good shooting guard option. Not really anyone really standing out. Chris Paul maybe a contrarian play. He's got the revenge game. Luisa Smoke does love being out, open anything interesting up. I think McKinney, if he starts, and Tristan Thompson should rebound a lot more. For someone like Justin Holiday's predicted 0.1%, but a good play, how high would we be willing to go? I mean, I have no problem with going 100%, but I think that this ownership we had didn't account for the latest injury news, so we'll have to look for the next update. Joey, what was up with Pirtle starting second half over Lyles? They probably just like that matchup better versus Whiteside, I think. I was pretty disappointed because I thought Lyles would play more and they wouldn't run Aldridge versus Whiteside, but you live in yard. All right, the Clippers are really tough to really call here. because Kawhi and Beverly are questionable. But I see Lou Williams maybe a good contrarian play because if these guys are out, which we won't know by lock potentially, they could he'd be getting a lot more usage, although with Paul George back, not quite as good a spot. All right, so let me see if my updates came in here. So I got the updated projections in. Sabonis 6.6%. Let me see when this ownership was done. $52 seconds ago. So I think I need to push a rankings update for this to sync. So I'll build my lineup once. Give it a minute here. So what I'm seeing. Let me see what McKinney's projected ownership is. 0.1% still. I wonder what they're thinking there. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at the DraftKings salaries real quick. So Tristan Thompson is much, much cheaper on DraftKings. That's going to be a core play of mine. The Knicks, RJ Barrett maybe. His minutes have been going down though. You don't have Theo Pinson, spike your martini. Man, Spencer Dinwiddie, 62. Which side is that? Alright. How many laps do you play a day? Unique. Usually 150 around. How do you feel with Haas back at 3.7K as Yame? I think that he's in play for sure. Alright. Let's see if this updated. It may be updated already. Anyway. How do you handle the lack of Clippers news on FanDuel? My best play would be just locking Lou Williams and hoping it goes your way. I don't really like playing someone who's questionable. Okay, so I'm going to start building my lineup here. I'm not even sure McKinney will start. If he starts, he's a play. If he doesn't, he's not. But thinking Chetty benefits more than McKinney. I mean, that's certainly true. But Chetty's a good play. He probably plays the back of power forward and starting small forward. How much randomness would you use for Pro Fantasy Cruncher? About 40%. All right. Let me give this one more shot, and I'm just going to go if it's not working here. So I'm locking in Dinwiddie, shooting guard. That's even better. The other plays, Jared Allen. There's no real reason he's a good player other than the price here. So, recycle KC for revenge. Oh yeah, lock it in. Aaron Holiday, pretty much a lock. So, let me just make sure there's nothing I'm missing here with the Indiana crew. So Justin Holiday started for Lamb. Aaron Holiday started at point guard. But let's see. I'm not sure why he's so low owned. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So the previous game, Jakar Sampson started. Oh, Brogdon was in. Okay. So I'm not sure what's up with his ownership. It seems anomalous, but I think he's a good play even if he is high owned because he's going to see a lot of minutes. Doug McDermott could be the contrarian alternative. All right. And then let me find another value play and I can go for some studs. 6,800 for Lori, that's pretty nice. House at 5,500 on FanDuel, not a play, it's more of a DraftKings play. PJ Tucker, that's somewhat interesting. I mean, that's a guy people kind of ding for not being a high upside player, but all right. Luka, one of my favorite studs. It's only 14%, so that's kind of appealing. Maxi at 24, 4,600 for 24. If my read is right that he has a good chance to start tonight, that could be a nice play. Last game he played a ton of minutes, so. Let me see if this is the right ownership though. 6.1% now. Nah, that's crazy bad at that ownership. Okay. Maybe some Kelly Yo. Just to simplify things, I'll just look at the highest some players to see who we got to lock in. Pascal, Harden, Allen, Holiday. Oh, Holiday is his ownership is a lot up. My bad. So Robert Covington's someone I kind of like because well, actually with Layman and maybe not quite as good. Can you talk a little RJ Barrett with Dennis Smith back? Yeah, let's check it out here. So RJ Barrett, actually Dotson is kind of coming in for Barrett, at least in this first half. And then Dennis Smith came in for Frank. Then Dotson came in for Frank. Second half, Kevin Knox came in for RJ Barrett. I think, man, I might have been too harsh on RJ Barrett here because I don't really anticipate Dotson stealing his minutes because Dotson's not really a core piece of the Knicks. So, this previous game, same thing. Dotson came in for Barrett, and then he did again. They've just been giving Dotson a lot of minutes. And this game, Barrett went 3 for 10. Let's see if we can figure it out. A couple turnovers. Maybe, yeah, I think he just played really bad. Okay. So this is making me feel more optimistic about Barrett here. He's only averaged 30 minutes over the last 5. Let me see if there's any other games that we can look at here. Because I think he could be a nice play. This is November 12th. So Dotson again. Did he get in foul trouble in this game? Yeah, he did. It's kind of interesting. So I'm feeling a little bit better about Barrett. Anyway, I'm just kind of showing you guys a little bit of my player analysis here. Is it viable to play Sabonis and Turner? Yes. I think it is because they can play at the same time. In general, I try to avoid guys who sub in for each other. Okay. So maybe our sneaky play is Lou Will. Let me just refresh and see if the ownership is... Okay, now we got the updated ownership. So I think Lou Will is kind of interesting. If Kawhi misses, like, he could be in a good big spot. That's kind of a sleeper play. And then we had Holidays and Dinwiddie. Okay. So center, I kind of talked about how, like, Tristan, Miles Turner is probably in the better spot. He's cheaper. I haven't projected for more points. So it's not that close, I guess. 40% randomness in Fantasy Cruncher Pro means that the standard deviation is 20% of the projection, which is about where I like it for generating some lineups. Okay. If you're in Fantasy Cruncher Classic, that'd be about 15%. Okay. Kind of like marketing. And let's see who I can get in here. Kleber, 11K. Maybe I'll try and get in Luka in this one. Alright, so $4,200 power forward. Pretty tepid on Trey Lyles here after burning me last game. So, Royce O'Neal, that's not bad. Michael Green. Alright. Less randomness equals more optimal. Yeah, exactly. Like Taj Gibson here. Maybe that's an interesting play. I generate a lot of lineups I don't use. That's why I set it so high. Maybe I'll slot in Maxi again and try to swap out someone else. So, maybe Turner. Let's see who else I can get center. Zeller. A super sleeper play. Alright. 329 projection, man. That seems really high. Let me load up Fantasy Cruncher and see what kind of projections we're getting over there. Alright. Thanks for talking me off, Miles Sanders, says Mike. Yeah. I wish I could have talked myself out. It's time for bacon to sizzle, says Kitten Collector. It depends what you mean by sizzle. If the bench is really hot or something, then I could see it happening. I forgot this is already baked in here. Let me switch my... Okay. Thoughts on Kevin Porter Jr. with everyone sliding down a spot? If he starts, it'd be interesting. He's not really a great fantasy player, if I recall correctly, but let me go into my numbers here. I have him projected for about 80% of minute, like 80% of a fantasy point per minute. So if you play 28 minutes, that'd be like 25. That'd be pretty good. The big question, I'm just not really sure if he's gonna start. For crunching 150 lamps straight from FC, is 40% randomness still recommended? No, I think that'd be too much. But that's not my preferred way to apply FC because you're going to end up not being able to select your best 150 because really what I'm doing is I'm looking through this crunch and trying to sift out the best. Why did Maxi play so many minutes? He started last game. So let me see what happened here. So actually reverse Marcus saw, which is interesting. I thought Powell would have started that. But that's why. All right, so my optimal is 344. So basically, my lineup here kind of stunk. So I'm glad I have Fantasy Cruncher here. Do you change all your exposures? Yes. I set it to be some... I set it kind of based on the value and ownership of a play. All right. So Aaron Holiday is really standing out here. I mean, he should be the guy getting all the assists in Indianapolis. So I think these Pacers all make nice plays. All the starters. Dinwiddie's kind of lack. So I don't still know like why all these Pacers are popping so hard, but I guess Brogdon being out is pretty significant. All right, so what am I do here? I'm looking for lineups projected over 334. So that means 334 is my cutoff. Actually, it looks like most of my lineups are about that. Just delete the lowest projected. Looking fresh, Alex. Looks foggy downtown. I work in Naperville. Oh, nice, man. Let's see. Not super foggy. All right. There's no way Awesemo uses 40% more randomness. Well, if you watch what I'm doing here, then you'll understand why. All right. Okay. I think it gets confusing too because of the terminology. Like maybe he's used to Fantasy Cruncher regular. All right. So the top on line is 245. Maybe I'll go down to 2. Since I have a lot of high projectile lamps here, maybe I'll just delete about half of them. Okay. Alright, wait a second for this to work. Any chance Torian Prince lost minutes last game? From the question, it sounds like maybe he played bad. 13 points, 5 fouls. He's just in foul trouble. Alright. So let's see what these lineups are looking like. So okay, Maxi's kind of a value play. George Hill, sleeper. So this is kind of going off of this game here. We got 29 minutes at the same rotation. So I think that there's potential there, but it does look pretty dicey from this game along. How do you split exposures when crunching more lineups than you play? I like to set them a little bit higher than the ownership projection. Are you making a priority with all the value to jam in Giannis and Luka? I think that works, yeah. If there's a lot of good value, you generally can fit those guys in easier. But I don't think there's a tremendous edge with this price tag kind of reflecting the value here. But these guys will be stables in my lineups, so. Alright, so Taj Gibson, he has played like 28 minutes. I think that could be you gotta hate Taj Gibson in a lineup, but can't feel comfortable with everything. Are you making a priority? Oh, sorry, I read that question. Alright. So other sleepers, Chris Paul, I mentioned that revenge game. Certainly don't value that much, but he's cheap, 7K. So Frank Ntilikina. I can understand why these guys are so low on here. Royce O'Neal. I'm not seeing any real deep sleepers here. Lillard actually 8%. That's pretty appealing. Colin Sexton, I think maybe he sees more minutes tonight if they play small. Teague, don't really understand why his ownership's so low. Devontae Graham also. I mean, these are good players. All right. What ownership total will you start deleting crunches? I think I just don't. I'm comparing it to kind of like the highest owned lineups I'm crunching here. So I don't really have a set number I'm shooting for. All right, let's try to build a lineup on DraftKings here. So I'm looking at the Holidays. Aaron Holiday is actually expensive on DraftKings, so that's interesting. But I still think he's a great play. Dinwiddie's kind of a lock button play. Tristan, really strong play today on DraftKings. Barrett's kind of like someone mentioned. I think that's pretty interesting. Marcus Morris, 1.3%. Man, that's pretty low. Okay. Siakam at 9K. I like that price tag. All right. Fred VanVleet looks to be a nice value. Maybe if I'm getting both of them, I'll slide in Graham here. Kind of. This is one of the spots where I might be worried more because Toronto is like a big favorite over Hornets to begin with. Top 3 DK core plays. Dinwiddie, Tristan Thompson, and I mean I'll cheat a little bit here. I'll go to my ownership. So Daniel House actually looks to be really chalky. It's kind of interesting. But I'll throw out either. I think Luka is probably my other core play. Maybe a more expensive guy. Can you get Jake Kakikos? He looks like he's all alone in a dungeon. It's a 2-game slate, so I'm sure he can handle it. All right. Would he settle limit for Pacers when crunching? Nah. I mean, since I'm gonna have Dinwiddie in every lineup pretty much, at least there's like potential that Oh, Joe Harris is only 2.4% projected. That's pretty good. All right. So if I have Dinwiddie, I'm not as worried about kind of stacking these guys up together. All right. So I need some more salary relief. I got 2 sleepers in here, so maybe I'll swap out someone like. Let me swap out Van Vliet here. See how that works out. Caltrain ranking 80%, projection 304. So let me see what this looks like. I was watching many Laura's player pool videos. Talking about limiting the number of players you have one of. Cost per bubble players. It's interesting, but like my general approach is to just look at each lineup individually. And if they all are a good lineup and they don't overlap too much, then I'm not worried about my overall exposure. All right. DraftKings. All right. So I got 304. And I got 316, so didn't quite make my range there. Doug McDermott in the optimal. That's interesting. Like, he didn't see many minutes last game, but I think there's a pretty good chance that he plays over Warren or Holiday. Tristan or RJ Barrett on DraftKings. I like Tristan, but he's going to be a lot higher owned. Do you like Jared Allen? Yeah, I think Jared Allen's a good play. Just the price tag's pretty low. Whiteside good. Yeah, I like Whiteside. I mean, there's no particular reason other than the fact that it's a fast game and he's cheap. But should be in a nice spot. So let me generate a couple lineups here. Doug McDermott and optimal are mutually exclusive terms. Fair. I think he's just popping because some of the other Pacers a little bit more. But actually, nah, I'm not sure. It's 3,800. I guess this is the price that it's hard to hit. All right. So my optimal was, what did I say it was? 316. So I will delete anything under 306. All right, and now I'll sort by the highest owned. Kind of go through my process here. So the highest owned lineup, 201. So maybe I'll go down to 180, 170. Oh, actually, it seems easy to do that. So I'll just delete 20% here. Let me look at some of the lower owned lineups here. George Hill, kind of a really dart throw play, but a Koji. Let's see. All right. Clarkson, that makes sense with Love out, just more shots, maybe more minutes. Maxi, I like that. I mean, you can late swap off him if he doesn't start. But his minutes have actually been pretty good off the bench, too. Yeah, so I think I'm getting a good sense of who might be the sneaky plays here. I need a way to account for foul trouble. Yes, I do account for foul trouble in my projections. But worrying about foul trouble with Tristan Thompson isn't really something that I'm worried about because he just doesn't foul a ton. Like only 3 fouls per 36. Let me compare that to another guy, maybe like Andre. Another guy who doesn't foul like an extreme amount, but he's at 4.3. So he fouls a lot lower than. Let me look at another guy, Miles Turner. No love for Towns. I like him. I mean, I like him a little bit. Let's see. So this is Miles Turner, 3.6 fouls on his career for 36. So Tristan Thompson is one of the safer like guys for fouls. Wendell Carter, that's a good comparison. So that's a guy that fouls a ton. 5.6 per 36. That's when you run into like major foul trouble. All right. What about with players off? I mean, I don't have a great way to account for that. Is there a way to tell if FC to make lines over a certain projection total? I'm not sure about that. That's interesting. All right. Compare fouls to JJJ. All right, let's take a look. He's 5.2. So yeah, that's a good. Where do you find that info? This is Basketball Reference. All right, that's the Jaren Jackson metric. I like it. So it's a nice kind of baseline to compare to. Tristan Thompson gets about 3/5 of the fouls of Jaren Jackson. All right, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure to check out the deeper dive at 5 p.m. followed by Live Before Lock, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the game plan. Thanks for watching.